This is a video to show you how you can pick up the stitches in the valley of your work, and it's a very easy way to apply an embellishment to your work. In this case, a ruffle. This is on a sock that I've created for my book. The book is called The Embellished Sock, Knitted Art for the Foot. This is called the ripple sock. It's a very otherwise simple sock, other than I came in after the fact in the leg of the sock and I picked up the stitches in the valley, and then I knitted this series of ruffles around the edge. The nice thing about this technique is, look at the inside of this sock. You can really only see these small places here where I picked up those stitches, but otherwise the inside of this sock is just as finished and just as nice as the outside. It's a very simple process, and let me just walk you through it. Here I have a sample of a stockinette stitch. It's just a very ordinary stitch. And I have put one of these in and taken them out because it's stretched a little bit so you could see better for the camera where that valley is. But you know, if you pull your knitting apart, there is a series of bars or ladders that run up and down the length of your knitted stitch. So if you come in here, and I find that if I use a little bit smaller needle than what I worked with, if you come in and just pick up that first ladder, I usually skip the second one and pick up the third, the fifth, the seventh, every other one down the length of however long I want my embellishment to be put. I have a nice series of clean, ready to work stitches that I can easily attach whatever I want to attach to it. Oh, looks like I missed one there. Let me go back. And you see how evenly spaced, and I'm just again picking up every one of these things. Now if you notice, I've used a circular needle. The reason is I think that it's easier to work with a circular needle, and that way I can move it to the other end, and I can, with a contrasting yarn, I can begin to work my embellishment. In this case, I just simply knit it in. Now depending on, in this case it's fine, but depending on how you may have picked those stitches up, you may find that the stitches are not presented on your needle correctly, and in that case you just simply would work in the back of the stitch in order to straighten it up. So it's simple enough to see here how I can knit across this row and then do whatever I want to do. In some cases, you know, if you were making a toy, you could use this to apply an eyelid or an ear or whatever. I mean, there are just tons of ways that you can do it. And again, you see on the back side where I've done that, you can barely see where I have knitted in those few stitches there. So it's a very easy way to add these embellishments. Now on the ripple sock, what I did was I simply made a ruffle where I knitted for a row or two, and then I doubled my stitches by knitting in the front and the back of every stitch, and then I knitted another row or two and I did the same thing of doubling it. So I went from, say, 50 stitches to 100 stitches to 200 stitches. Obviously this is not 50 stitches, but when I finished the end of this ruffle, there was a big flap sticking out here, and all I did to make that feel a little better was I simply rolled over the edge and secured that edge, sewing it back down to the base of the sock, and therefore I have a nice rounded edge of that ruffle that's there. So that's knitting in the valley. I hope it helps you. Hope you have fun with it like I have.